Welcome to another episode of 37 Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 38-year-old from Thorold, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Germany, Italy, and Wales. A staple and legend with those pesky Thorold Blackhawks who lost the Sutherland Cup to yours truly way back in '01 and the Elmira Sugar Thangs. But for fun, he put up 97 points in 45 games with those Blackhawks and helped raise my goat, earning his way to the Niagara Purple Eagles. And I hear he got dropped off at practice across the border by his old man. He promptly became a champion with those Perps as a freshie, winning the CHA. Followed that up, being a two-time first-team All-Star. For fun, won it again and showed everybody what's up, winning the CHA Player of the Year. After that, had his way in the A and did play a game in the show with one of my favorite teams, the New York Islanders. Then dabbled in Germany before becoming a legend in Asiago, Italy. Good cheese, where he only put up 306 points in 203 games played and is a two-time Italian champion, a two-time Italian Super Cup champion,
This is
had the
probably the
most
nicest
apples in
intro
the
I've ever
stop
done.
talking, I'm still in the middle of this. I know you're
I'm
cold.
freezing.
Most
Okay.
apples in the league two times and the most points in the league one time. Then decided to head to the Sheds honey hole, Cardiff, Wales, and my Devils, and became a legend again. One Challenge Cup, two playoff titles, two league titles, and most definitely a testimonial under his belt. Welcome to the cold tub in the shed, Sean Bentivoglio.
Oh, that pronunciation is a little off, but I'll take
Really?
it. And thanks for the intro. It's Bentivoglio, but I mean, it was close enough.
Bentivoglio?
Yeah, perfect.
The G is silent.
The G is silent.
Oh, and my word, you're in a cold tub right now. That looks cold, dude. You're right under that.
Yeah, we didn't pick the best day. I think it's like -2, feels like -6 right now, but I'm gonna alternate back and forth from the cold and hot just so I don't get any hypothermia.
Yeah, you wouldn't want hypothermia. I got to hit the space heater on here in the shed, and I'm pretty comfortable. Um, why are you doing that?
Yeah, it was just a thing we started. One of the girls at the gym I go to here in Waterdown, she's a chiropractor. Her and her husband have a clinic in town, and they actually got it's called a cold tour tub, but it's meant for indoors and it chills automatically. So I started doing it there, and I just really liked it. Just all the benefits, both mentally and physically, and just trying to take care of the body a little better these days now that I'm almost 40.
Um, Benty, um, I wasn't the most in shape hockey player in the professional hockey. I wasn't jacked up, and there were rumors you were similar Coke can. Um,
Yeah,
you seem to be more jacked up now that you're not a professional hockey player than when you were. You're pretty well yoked, the kids would say.
yeah. I mean, this is probably the best shape I've been in physically, like just looking at my body. But I mean, cardio wise, like as you could attest to, like playing an actual hockey game is a lot of different cardio than doing a bike or a ski erg or something like that at the gym.
That's true though. You can look in shape and not be in shape. There's no doubt about that. But you look
Exactly.
mentally and you look happy and healthy. And to me, when I left the game, I had like nobody to compete with. I had no game to play. I had nothing to win. And I see what you're doing there in Waterdown. You seem to have like a competition going. And what's it like, blue versus red team, and you guys all like work out against each other?
Yeah, so I joined the F45. It's a chain actually worldwide, but yeah, the location here has just made it really fun. So we did 45-day challenge, and they split it up into two teams, so it made it really competitive. There was points for showing up every day. There's extra challenges to do every week, and it just really pushed people. There's a lot of different people at the gym, whether it was lose weight, lose fat, or gain muscle. A lot of people reached their goals, and it was kind of crazy to see what people could do over a 6.5 week span.
How long are you gonna sit in that thing, man? My nuts would be in my mouth by now.
I don't know. Do we have a timer going on the bottom there somewhere?
We started like 3 minutes ago, maybe, but
Okay, I'll stay until like 6, and then I'll go in the hot tub.
yeah, you should probably I don't know, man. Lordo forced me into those things. I it, I felt pressured. I felt bullied. I hate cold tubs. I want nothing to do with them. I understand they work. I know I felt better when I got out of them. But you know what? I still didn't want to do them.
Yeah, if old Andy Lordo saw this right now, he'd be in shock. He begged me to go in the cold tub every day and take care of my body better. But at that time, I just didn't feel like I needed it.
I agree. I didn't feel like I needed it either. And I still don't. I actually feel like I just need to go to my shed and laugh, not sit in a cold tub. But what I find is when you leave hockey, you need to feel part of a team. You need to feel part of something. You need something going on where you're part of all the people. And I'm happy you found your thing, even if it is sitting in a cold tub, because for me, I had a hard time out of the game, but now coaching kids and being part of minor hockey is like my thing. And also the shed, obviously, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think almost every guy you could talk to that played, the transition to the real world is really hard, and everyone goes through that little phase where it is difficult to adjust, and everyone's had their mental health issues, and like it's good that guys like you can openly talk about it and just get the word out there to other hockey players that are retiring that it's not the easiest transition when you're used to playing a game your whole life, and then you're all of a sudden tossed into the real world, right?
Well, it's totally different, man. Like it's totally different than showing up at the rink with a bunch of dandies and talking about what they did the day before and what they ate and whatever else they got into. And all of a sudden you're sitting somewhere for a extended period of the day, and maybe not everybody is a hockey guy like you, and you don't have the same interests, and it can make time go pretty slow compared to like what we used to do where you'd show up at the rink, you would hang out with your buddies, play hockey and compete, and then you'd go have lunch, and the odd time back in the day maybe a beer or two. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it is a drastic change when you put it like that, right?
Well, it is. It's totally different. It's a different life, but it seems like you've landed on your feet, sir.
Yeah, no, yeah, things are
You're
good, but
going
like you
from a
said,
cold tub to a hot tub. You got to be doing all right. I don't have either of those.
yeah, no, 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 things are good. It's just that initial period, the first year or so when you stop playing, and I actually my career ended when the first COVID wave hit, so I had planned on retiring after that season anyway, but then obviously the world shut down there, so not only was Jenna pregnant with Gavin and we were about to have a baby, but COVID happened and my career ended at the same time. So tossed into a COVID world with our third kid, and all of a sudden trying to find a job and trying to fit into the working society.
I Yeah, and I have a lot to say about that because it was right before that all happened was Wally night, and I got written down here. We'll just go with the flow though. I got written down how we know each other. But Wally
Yeah,
night when I came over there to Cardiff, after that game, it's one of your poster pics you sent. It's me and you, and I bet you're
yeah,
sending that to Nats or Lackner or Eggets. Some of my Sugar Kings that was a purple eagle with you, but I kind of mentioned to you like how hard of a time I had, and I was like, man, if you ever need anything when you're done, let me know because she's a tough go there at first, you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Actually, I think we had that conversation up in the VIP lounge after the game, right?
we did. Yep, that's that right around when that picture happened.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I don't forget that many things, but I knew you were coming to the end, and I knew we had the same friends, and shed guys know shed guys, and yeah,
Yeah,
I just, I mean, once you've gone through it, if you can help someone that has a coming their way. I mean, it's hard to see it coming. Well, you see it coming, but like you actually don't know how hard it's going to be until you actually have to do it, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. But
I mean, even us talking about this, like guys that are still playing that are winding down now, like
they still aren't getting it until they get it.
yeah, it's different. Like you said, you're not waking up every day having a coffee with the boys in the room, telling jokes,
Yeah.
pulling pranks on guys every day,
Yeah.
and
Just
then
having fun. Your
exactly.
job is to like have fun and play games. You know? Shoot. So are you warm now? You're in the hot tub now?
I am warm. So the initial minute when I got in here, my skin was burning, but no, now I'm settled in here, just trying to keep the
You
shoulders under because
you're really
the
going with the
wind.
flow here. You're really going with the flow. It's nice to see adaptable people, and you must be. But let's get into this. So
Yeah,
how we
sure.
know each other, okay? Did you
Well,
ever go to Elmira, Ontario to the Maple Syrup Festival?
no, I don't think I have.
So, some Western Michigan Broncos, I would get my fellas to come back to the Sap Fest every year in Elmira, and the Van Nyenaden and the boys and Lochner. Agates brought some Purple Eagles one year, and we had in Elmira, Ontario, a full-blown like NCAA like get in one Purple Eagles and Broncos in Elmira, Ontario. And there was at one point there was 8 Sugar Kings on the Purple Eagles and the Broncos. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to at that time that junior B loop was a lot better than it is now. I think because I remember there was
That's what
like
they say, yeah.
yeah, well there was just I feel like at that time there was way more guys getting scholarships from like
Way more.
even yeah even like the Niagara area too, right? I
Yeah.
feel like now a lot of the scholarships are coming from tier two junior A.
Well, actually, most of them are coming from the US of A, and because they're better at hockey than they're doing better than they used to, and they don't need
Yeah,
Canadians for scholarships as much as they used to. Um,
true.
but
Which is
anyways, so
uh,
other ways we know each other then is the Sugar Kings did defeat the Thorold Blackhawks back in 2000, 2001. I became a Southern Cup champion. Would you have attended a match to watch my 15-year-old buddy Ken Dunn fight John Scott at center ice or anything like that?
I I was definitely there watching. There isn't many things to do in Thorold, Ontario.
Yes. Well, you were watching my fat ass play and we won. And Agates. And Lackner and Van Nyenatten, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they all became like I don't know. I find like you learn how to win and you learn how important winning is. You learn what it takes. You learn how to be a team. You learn what's right and wrong. And I think the fellas I was with then, that's how I learned. I thought Agates was a big part of that. But then you guys went to Niagara and won a whole bunch again, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. So we actually only won one championship out of the 4 years I was there. But
So why did the research team say two? Thought it said two.
you know why? There's a little blip on Elite
There's a
Prospects.
hiccup. Is there a
It,
hiccup?
it does say I've won two, but we could just leave that there to make it look better.
Uh, Sounds better.
Feeling better for sure.
But so was that the first year you won your rookie year?
Yeah, so that would have been 03, 04.
And were you getting dropped off and didn't have a driver's license from your old man? I heard this in the shed
Yeah,
from Agates. Is this true?
yeah. So I don't know
Okay,
what
hold
like
on. Before we start that, Gray Matter be in Kincardine. They're my sponsor. They give me free beer to drink beers with my friends in my shed, and I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for being on my team. This is the Airship. It's a Dunkel. That's like Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. That's ein Dunkel beer. That means dark beer. Cheers, Brost. Go
yeah,
Kincardine.
I just used Dunkelweizen when I played in Augsburg.
Really? The teams in Germany wouldn't let me drink Weiss beer because they said it would make me too fat because I was already fat. Yeah, you were allowed to drink Weiss beer, eh?
Oh, I mean, I sprinkled a few beers in
One or
over my
two.
career. So,
Yeah, one or
yeah,
two. Yeah. So you just went back to Niagara, eh? You guys just had a reunion. Isn't it
yeah,
cool that when you win something, like it is forever? Like it literally is. Like you have reunions, you have get-togethers, there's group chats, there's still people talking, and those teams you don't win with, that shit doesn't happen. You might have your buddy or two, but it ain't a full team deal, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was 20-year anniversary from when we won our conference championship, and yeah, it was actually a great turnout. So I think we had maybe, I want to say, like 27 guys on the team, and I think we had 22 guys show up for the weekend.
That's incredible. That many years later and from that many different places, 22 out of
Yeah,
27.
yeah, it was something like that, and like all so for the last 2 or 3 months leading up, we had a WhatsApp chat going, and almost everyone was in that as well. And obviously Dutchy was posting in there daily about posting game sheets of every game that year and who did
He does
what, who
that
had
with you guys too. He does that
how,
with the Sugar Kings. He started a
how
whole
many
thing
plays
and
he
he
had.
had everything going with every game sheet, everything. And
Oh,
he he
same.
gets right invested, doesn't he?
He really does, and he brought his parents down for the weekend, which was great to see them as well.
Oh man, yeah. Pete and Marge, dandies.
Oh yeah, just beauties.
I remember a story of his mom when we were in the Sugar King Drive for the Sutherland Cup, and she went into the bathroom to take a leak, and we scored a goal. Finished the playoffs in the bathroom, never came out. She because it was good luck she was in the bathroom, so she couldn't take watching, so she would just stay in the bathroom during the playoffs. She'd be in the
That's
barn, but not watching the game.
awesome.
Ah, man. And well, obviously Andrew Lackner. I grew up with him, my best friend growing up, and you played with him with the Purple Eagles too. Isn't it a small world?
It is a really small world, yeah. Um, yeah, we had four guys from because we had Dutchy,
Dutchy,
Agate,
Agates, Lackner, and
Bubba,
Brian Mills.
and Millsy played there too.
Yeah, did you know him? Yeah, because he didn't stay at your school that long, but
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, he was there my first 2 years, but he actually lives in Waterdown now too.
oh, really?
Yeah, so I see him quite often.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Um, he was a good looking chap back in the day, blonde hair,
Oh,
good
yeah,
flow. Yeah.
yeah, he
Tough
was.
to
Yeah,
compete with shit like that going on.
especially with our body types, right?
Right? And speaking of our body types though, but you're hairier than me. You grow more
I
hair than
um,
me.
I
And I'm
do.
having problems with my hair. It's coming out of my ears, it's coming out of my nose, and like I'm talking like at a rapid rate. I can't keep up with it. And well, I mean, I'm just calling a spade a spade. You're hairier than me. So how does it go with that? You just let her go, eh? Like what can you do? Like I'm battling it myself.
Like hair, like body hair.
Yeah, like ear, nose,
Yeah, yeah,
chest, back.
my chest and back. I bought this little stick thing on Amazon. I think it's called the back blade. Um, it has an arm on it and it extends. It has like blades that are pointing in two or three different angles. So, I do that. I do that once a week for the old
So it's
back.
like a
Keeper.
back scratcher, but you can get the hairs.
Exactly.
Oh,
So I usually do in the shower. I'll just toss a little body soap on the blades, and then it takes about 2 or 3 minutes, and it actually gets it off pretty good.
no, that makes sense. I probably could use that tool. Um, so other ways we know each other, other than like my sugar things that, I mean, it was interesting how so many Western Michigan Broncos came out of Elmira and then Purple Eagles. But man, having that syrup day back in Elmira when both teams came back, and I brought my guys and Nathan brought his guys and Lackner brought his guys, and we had a day. It was something. But the other ways we know each other is you helped raise my goat, Joey Martin, with JJ.
I did. So I actually grew up with Joey's older brother, JJ. And Joe was always the young pup trying to tag along to play road hockey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, once he got to, I'd say like maybe like 10 or 11, you know, he would just come and wait. And if we had a guy that didn't show up, he would fill in and play.
He'd be ready to rock.
Yeah, again, so we were like 85 and 84 birth years, and Joey was an 88. So like if he was 9 or 10, you know, we were all 13 or
Oh,
13 or
he's
14.
quite a bit younger then.
Yeah, yeah. So he was quite a bit younger, but yeah, it's funny how that all worked out, and you know, then I ended up being teammates with Joe for 4 years, and I'm equally as close with Joe as I am JJ now. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how that all works. You know, the small town of Thorold, Ontario. Two guys end up playing professionally in Cardiff, Wales together.
It is crazy, and it's crazy that like Elmira played Thorold back then, and
Oh, I
JJ
know.
was on the team, and
Yeah, there's
you
so many
and
connections.
Joey were watching, and it's like,
Oh yeah, it's funny. Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting, but like that series I was in was as hockey as it got. Like Thorold had a bunch of hockey guys, and we had a
yeah.
bunch of hockey guys, and it was a battle. But other small world is like when I went over for Wally night, and like I don't really know you other than I know you're a Purple Eagle and you're buddies with my buddies. Was like after the night or whatever, like I go out for dinner with JJ and Joey, and like, you know, like I'm part of the family, and like so are you. And then we had never really had our time together until Josh Batch's testimonial, right?
No, I know, and that was a good one.
It was a
That
good
was,
one.
that was a good run.
It was a good run. Somebody stop me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun.
You
That
don't
was a
get
good.
those days back, do you?
You don't, but you know, as we get older, those weekends become harder and harder.
Well, they do. It's hard to readjust back to the real world when you go
Oh
after
yeah.
4 days, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to only be three, but that last day I think really got us.
That last day was I mean, I don't know what the word is, but we did it. And you know what? You don't get those days back, and you may as well do
You
it while
know,
you can, right?
yeah,
We
you're
probably
right.
didn't need that last day, but you know what? We earned it.
Yeah, we definitely earned it. I think the worst part was when I got back to Pearson, my car had been stolen from the parking garage. So not only were we all extremely hungover, but I didn't have a car to get home, and I had to file a police report and deal with all that, deal with my insurance company all night. So just the exact opposite of what you probably want after you drink
Just
and party with old friends for 4 days.
Yeah, and those were 4 full days. But the way those four, like, I mean, we may as well stay right in this pocket now that we're going. To start the trip, we get to the airport, and we're fresh, we're ready, we're happy, we're ready to go. And you had those passes to lounges, and man, those were handy. Free drinks, free food, just hang out. And we kicked off the weekend, me, you, and Hoth, and we kicked it off, and we started celebrating Batchy right there in Canada. And then we get on the plane, and I pass right out. I go to sleep, and then I wake up like hours later, and we're still in fucking Toronto.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember you waking up and you're like, "Oh, that seemed like a quick flight." I'm like, "Oh no, we're still in Toronto." I forget the reason. I forget the reason why it was delayed like 3 hours. So we sat on the tarmac for 2 hours,
A
and
water
then
truck hit the plane,
a water truck hit the plane. That's what
and they
happened.
they decided for hours if it was fine or not, and then they finally kicked us off the plane. I have to wake up.
Yeah,
We get off the plane and went and had another pint, and then we got on the next plane that was the exact same. But like for them to wait that many hours, and then when we finally get there, we're hours behind schedule.
Yeah,
And
I
we
think we're
got to
like
shout this
4
guy
hours.
out, dude. We got to shout out my sponsor, Neil Parker, Black
Oh, he
Kite
was
Couriers. Dude,
yeah.
you remember we show up at the airport hours behind schedule, and he's there with like this swank. What kind of car was that? It was like something I'd never been in. Was it like a range? I don't know what they're like fancy.
Hold on. My daughter's just coming outside. Yes, honey.
Oh, hey, what's her name?
Mila. Yeah, that daddy's on a call right now.
Yeah, work call, business call.
I'll be done in like 2 minutes, okay?
That's not true.
I know.
Untrue. That's untrue.
Close the door.
We can pause it if you need to. Parents need to
No,
parent.
no, it's fine. She's okay.
Okay.
Although she's locking the door right now, so I can't get back inside.
You're gonna be stuck outside cold and afraid and naked.
Yeah, great.
Um, but we finally did get there, and Neil Parker showed up in that fancy car, and it was so comfortable and such a smooth ride. And he is the sponsor of the shed. He is fronted the money to make jerseys over there that I can raffle off and then actually send the money to the Manchester Storm for sponsoring a jersey, but and other fun things we do. But like if it wasn't for him, man, that ride we could have been on a bus, a taxi, we could have been doing anything. Instead, we got in the nicest car I've ever been in. He had
Perfect.
waters, he had everything set up for us. I think he might have even had some beers, and we just cruised all the way to Cardiff, didn't we?
Yeah, it was nice. After a trip like that, especially being delayed for 4 hours, it was nice to get in a luxury vehicle like that for the last. Well, I think it was a bad time we landed at. So it took us about 4 hours to get from Gatwick to Cardiff.
Yeah,
But
it was a
yeah,
day. It was a
I,
day.
yeah, I think we were supposed to get to Cardiff at like 11 a.m. and we ended up getting there at like 5 p.m. Right?
I know that I was supposed to be at Rah Rah and Miley's practice, and I was planning on going on the ice with them and surprising them and like going out and mucking it up. And by the time I actually got to the arena, practice was nearly over, and I didn't have time to get my equipment on or do anything except get a picture with them. But um, you do the best you can, and you get there when you get there, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was a crazy day.
It was. And that
Yeah,
game was exhausting because we had had a couple days by the time that game actually happened, right?
yeah. I remember I had to do the like in the skills competition. I had to do fastest skater, and I was not feeling that good. Sorry, Batchy, but it
Who
was a
did you
struggle.
go against?
Uh, Pigs.
Mm, who won?
I think Batchy wanted. He thought that we'd be maybe a little more lubricated by that point because you know how Piggy and I get after a couple.
Yes.
But I think we were kind of running on fumes by that point, so he didn't exactly get the show that he wanted for them.
I getting ready for that hockey match. Um, you know, we might have gone we might have been overexcited the night before. We might have had more fun than we anticipated having. And it was really hard to play hockey that next day.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Was. But I gutted it out. I got through it, 2 goals,
Yeah,
won the game, you know?
yeah, we did. It was it was a battle though. I'll be honest.
It was. It was a battle for all 4 days though, right? Because
It
when you
was,
wake
yeah.
up and you realize like these days don't exist very often, once you join the real world and you get to go back and do something like that. And thank you, Batchy, for bringing us back for that because
Thanks,
you don't
Batchy.
you don't get days like that anymore, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, like it was like the 4 nicest days I've ever seen in Cardiff.
Wasn't it?
Um, yeah, it was beautiful, sunny every day. Which obviously we were there in a different time of the year than we would usually be. But I don't ever remember there being 4 days straight of sunshine in Wales at any point.
Well, and then we
Hey
could get
guys,
right.
coming up,
I won't
like
even look at my
Cardiff
notes
fans.
here. Oh, it's like that day before the game, I think it was the day before the game, when we hit Witherspoons and we hit the Bay like all
Oh,
afternoon and then went to that draft at night, totally buckled.
yeah, I mean that'll happen, right?
Well, it does happen when you get a bunch of middle-aged men that don't get to do what they used to do. And then you're saying we show up for a weekend, we got to play one hockey game, and other than that, we have to have fun. Like, we are good
Yeah,
at having fun.
yeah, and I mean you mixed in Chris and Steve George, and that's all that's
Chris
all we
starts
needed.
kissing you, Steve starts dancing and playing tunes, and like, what else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah. But like your poster picks, I was thinking about it myself. I was like, well, what would I put when you asked me, like, what do you want? And I was like, well, buddies, hockey, family, whatever you want on your poster. And then I was thinking, I was like, what would I put on my poster nowadays? Like,
Yeah,
um, there's so many things we go through, right? And like, you could have put on your Italy days, you could have put on playing in the NHL, you could have put on your Purple Eagle days. You had family and the Cardiff Devils, eh?
yeah, pretty much. I went back in my albums. I just searched on my Google Photos hockey, and then I was able to filter it to get myself and my wife and the kids, and just took a few of those pictures too. But she's gone with her friends today. They're doing their Christmas dinner. I know it's a little late, but so I've had the kids on my own today, sort of try to dig back through photos. It was just I just didn't have the time
I
to do
I
it.
thought you did a fantastic job though, but Cardiff Wales must have meant a lot to you because it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, just the people there, they're like the best people I've ever met, and the organization was probably like the best one I've ever played for. It was just so professional, the way they treat their players there, and yeah, I mean those 4 years were probably the four most fun years I had playing the game.
I It brought back my love of hockey. Like I kind of went there confidence shattered, tail between my legs because, I had a good year in Denmark. They don't want me back and I'm like, am I the problem? Am I the bad guy in the room? Like what just happened? And then I sign in Cardiff and then all of a sudden I get put on this group email of all the players and I start seeing emails from pigs who like he would write the most ridiculous email, the most hockey email you've ever read, and then it says cancer research doctor, blah 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 at the end, and I'm like, who am I
Oh,
going to play hockey with? And then the emails back and forth. I was like, these guys know how to hockey. I'm going to a hockey team.
yeah, it was great, and I think Todd and Lordo
Are
and
you
the
back in
new
the cold tub?
I am.
Holy
Um,
shit, man, you're
uh,
fucked.
I
Okay,
just
go
had a
ahead.
cool down. I was getting too hot in there. Yeah, I think Todd and Lordo did a good job. Once the new ownership group took over, who still do an amazing job to this day supporting the team. I just think they changed the direction of the of the whole organization, just the way things were run, and then how professional it became. You have guys wanting to go play in Cardiff, whereas maybe 3 or 4 years before you and Marty were there, that was obviously not the case. So I just think the new ownership, and then you add in Todd and Lordo, and it just changed the franchise completely.
Well, I did, and I took a lot out from Todd Kelman. I did. I learned a lot watching him do things. I'm the type of guy that like I may not act like I'm watching everybody, but I am. Um, he used to in the big blue tent. He would make sure every ketchup bottle was full. He made sure every mustard bottle was full. Like if people like he was saying that the ketchup wasn't red enough, it wasn't Devils enough, and like his attention to detail and like now coaching kids, it's like attention to detail and like the little things I do believe win games. It's like the little things he did
Yep.
won games. Like when I show up in Cardiff, in my state, in my mental state with hockey and where I was at, and I'm kind of at the end, and I can't believe I am where I am, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like I was doing this and I was doing that, and then all of a sudden it's like over, and then I'm coming to Cardiff, and he's got a jersey set out on the the crib for Colby with an 18 Walton jersey,
Yep.
the size of the kid, and it's like there's not many teams in the world that are thinking that means a lot to me, and I'm ready to do what you need me to do because you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of little things like that they did, and once you got there, you just felt part of the family right away, and I think that's a big thing. They did have a couple years where there was a large turnover of players, and I think the ability to be able to do little things like that kept a lot of guys coming back. So I know the 4 years I was there, like I think we had 4 or 5 new guys every year, if that.
And that's what you
Where
want on a team, right? You want a core.
Yeah, exactly. So you always wanted to try to keep the core, and then obviously you're gonna have guys leave or guys retire. So, but for the main part, the 4 years I was there, we had this like pretty much the same crew of people.
And it's tough the way it ended for you guys. Now that we're on it, is I
Yep.
went over there for Wally night. I had heard you guys were struggling. I heard my goat was struggling, and he hadn't scored in so long. It was his longest time ever. And then I went over there and had a few. I hung out with some of the guys a couple days before the game, and we get chit chatting, and everybody was pretty stressed out about the whole hockey deal and life and the job. And then that's kind of what inspired my pregame speech, which I guess you saw, right?
Yeah. De-
Yeah.
Definitely, we'll never forget that one.
um, but that's what inspired it was like it's like hockey's supposed to be fun. Like you do
Yeah.
win and you do lose, and like if you know you're on a team that goes out and gives it everything they got and gives it right down to the nuts everything they have, it's like you can't ask for anything else. It's like, but it's the games where you're like, did you actually try hard enough? And it's like when you get a team full of guys that know what it takes and know what it's about and know how to win, like you don't need people telling you you didn't do this or that, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyways, I how this whole shed thing starts, how this all happens and how so many people have listened in so many different countries. It wasn't from what I've done, it's what everybody else has done. And it took when I leave the Cardiff Devils, Joey Martin, and then you coming in and all these other guys that made a dynasty. And then all of a sudden, the Cardiff Devils are a thing. They're on PlayStation games my kids get to play. It's like it's crazy what the Cardiff Devils have become from what I went to play for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know what it was like before I got there, but the year I got there was pretty much the first full season in the brand new rink. And yeah, so it was a brand new rink, brand new locker room. The team was right on the cusp of becoming a championship team. And yeah, I think after a few months, like everything just started to click with the guys we had, and Cardiff hadn't won the league championship in 20 years. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think we really caught fire around November, and then we ended up
Oh,
clinching.
November, eh? That's right around when Wally night was when I told you guys hockey was supposed to be fun and got naked in front of you. Showed you my tallywhacker.
Yeah, I mean that first year, I think we clinched with like 7 games left, so it was tough play in those last 6 or 7 games that didn't really mean anything. But
That would be tough.
yeah, it was fun, and I remember we had won the Challenge Cup. That was that early March. but we had a massive lead in the league standing as well. So I remember winning that, and we're like, okay, here we go. You know, we have a good shot at winning the league, the Challenge Cup, in the playoffs. Anyway, so I want to say at that point we had like 12 or 13 games left, and we knew out of those last 12, 13 games, like we had to win maybe 5 or 6 to
Yeah.
clinch it. It was pretty much done. But I remember, so we ended up. This is a funny Todd story. So we ended up winning the Challenge Cup. It was in Cardiff that year, so obviously we go out and party. And the next day, I get a text from Todd, and Todd's like, "You have to be at BBC at like 1 o'clock for an interview." And obviously the boys were already up, and we are already back at Witherspoon's having a few beers. So I remember, and like the guys still laugh about it, but I remember I just texted him back. I'm like, oh, "Sorry, Todd, like I'm not gonna be able to do the interview. You know, the boys are all out again." And within maybe within 10 minutes, we had Lordo texting us, calling. He's like, "You guys are out drinking again." And you know, they were just they obviously just wanted the best for the team, and they were like so excited about the potential of winning the league, that they were just like, "Okay, boys, like maybe just one day here." But I mean, the boys stayed out all day that day too. But
Well,
yeah, it was just funny.
well, and people may think I'm crazy. They may think I'm totally nuts, but I think teams getting together and doing those days is what wins championships. That's how you win, is guys that will do anything for each other when you get on the ice. It's like, well, we went and had lunch. We went and had a fun day on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Well, it's Friday now, and we had fun, but we're all brothers now, and we will go out and beat you, you know?
yeah, exactly. I feel like, I mean, now it's a little different. I know a lot of the younger guys playing now don't really drink that much, but in like our time, that was normal, and that was part of like team bonding, right?
Well, it
Um,
was.
yeah, I know. I know my
Now they
first
like
year.
work out for team bonding. Checkmate.
Yeah, it's
Gray
different. Yeah,
matter, Kincard in Canada.
yeah. I know it's definitely different now, but I mean, we had our fair share of pints over in Cardiff. There, that's for sure.
Yeah, me and Carl Hudson had a couple when we lived in the same apartments. Um, the odd time, you know, playgrounds and whatnot. But um, yeah, no, like Cardiff was a special place for me, and I do have to bring this up quick. Is the Continental Cup Finals is next weekend. Matt Carruth is coming back with the Herning Blue Foxes to play Cardiff and the other two teams. Evan Mosey plays on the Cardiff Devils. Just had them on. I mean, I played on teams. I switched teams. Teams didn't want me back. I moved different places. I personally think the most hockey thing in the world is we're all just playing a game. We're all just having fun. We're all on the same team, and we're all putting on a show. We're all putting on a game. We are all brothers. There's shed guys everywhere. Matt Carruth is a shed guy. He plays for Herning now. He doesn't play for Cardiff, but when he comes back, if it was me, if it was me on a different team going back to a place I had played, won a playoff championship with, been part of it, have friends there, know people there, whoever wins that game, I don't I want Cardiff to win because I'm a Devil, but if Matt Carruth and the Herring Blue Foxes win, I want Cardiff Devils fans to throw Twix on the ice because they deserve it, because they won. If Evan Mosey and the Cardiff Devils win, I want Kit Kats thrown on the ice. I want everybody on the ice, or all the fans that come to the game, bring a Kit Kat and a Twix. Whoever wins, throw that one and eat the other one. You know, that's as hockey as it gets to me. It's like playing the Thorold Blackhawks back in the day. It's like senior A around here. It's like whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. Let's not make this a bigger deal than it is. Let's have fun and play hockey. and I know everybody's going to go out there and compete as hard as they can.
Yeah.
If the Blue Fox Herring guys win, throw Twix on the ice. If Cardiff wins, throw Kit Kats on the ice. Because I think that would be as hockey as it gets in the Continental Cup finals. That me talking in my shed, this short, fat guy that didn't do much in his career, could get that to happen in the Continental Cup finals. That would be as cool as it gets, right?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. It'd be like a
Yeah.
guy. It'd be like a guy like you sitting in his cold tub, right?
I'm actually back in the hot now.
Oh, you're
I had to
back
come back
hot
over.
now.
Yeah.
Jeepers. So how did you end up babbling in your cold tub and like tell it? Because you always told me. I never thought I'd ever get you in. You always told me you weren't a talker. I never thought I'd get you here. And now you're here. And it was because you came out to your cold tub and started chatting with people. I'm like, how can you do that and not talk to me?
Yeah, I'm not much of a talker. I mean,
Yeah, you
other
are.
than other than being in the locker room around the guys, I don't really like this stuff. But no, we just started, at the gym where I was posting videos of going in every day, and everyone thought it was hilarious. At this, like, there was like days there where I was getting hundreds of messages from like old friends from high school, like fans from Cardiff, people from like Asiago, Italy, like the most random messages. So I'm like, well, I'll just keep it going. So then like we're just joking out of the gym, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should start doing interviews in there." So I mean, we did a few of those just for a couple of laughs, and yeah, that's it. It just kind of took off. So now I just kind of do it every morning. People like the old greeting, the old good morning. I get those voice notes from people all the time, and it just actually brings a smile to my face to know people are enjoying that every morning.
Right?
Because there's mornings that are harder to wake up than some other mornings, right? And
Well, there are.
if if like something makes you happier, it makes you laugh a bit, then so be it, right?
I I couldn't agree more. It's like people probably think I'm totally nuts with how often I do this, how much time I put into this, but it's like
Yeah,
the messages I've got, the pictures I've got sent from all these different people that I didn't know these pictures existed. I didn't know I hadn't seen these people in so long, and then you start doing this and then people write to you and you're so like you have a better day because I talked to people in my shed, and you're like, huh, well, I had a better day too, so maybe I should do this. You know?
yeah. It's funny because you'll always get the negative messages too, right? Like, oh, you're so, like this annoying, or I'm muting you, or blah blah blah. But I mean, it was there were some days it was like overwhelming how many messages I was getting, and pretty sure I sold newer cover about 60 or 70 cold tubs by just posting that stuff every day, and people asking about the benefits, and it was crazy, like how many tubs I think I sold to them. But
Are
yeah,
you a
I mean,
do you got sponsored then or what?
no, I just have like a promo code that people can use now. But like, I mean, I didn't have it before like all these people bought it. But
Well,
no, even
you
getting that.
can do that now. We got free ads. You can do the promo code on here if you want. I don't care.
Okay, but no, it was actually like getting like paragraph messages from people saying, it was inspirational doing the challenge, doing the weight loss challenge, doing the cold tub thing, and just trying to change like day to day habits to just be a better person, husband, dad, whatever, right? So, yeah, I think no matter what you do, you're always gonna have people that have a negative view, and that's
I
the
think
shit you
it's
gotta.
great, dude. I honestly,
Yeah,
um, for me in my life, I didn't get out of my shell much. I was not who I wanted to be a lot of years because I was me in Elmira. Then I went to Western Michigan. I was pretty well me. But then you get into pro and like you got all the other people and different personalities and it's hard to be yourself. And then
yeah,
when you like I got to Cardiff and I got to be myself again and I didn't care anymore. And then like now out here and I get to just be myself and say what I think and um it's it's fun, right? And then when you hear from people from other countries and other places where you played that like you're like, you guys don't remember me. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, people actually do, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how many people actually care, right?
Yeah.
Um, like I just think it's a big problem in society right now that, the few negative things that people might hear really distracts or disturbs your thinking of, how to act or doing certain things on social media platforms because, maybe one or two people say something negative about it. But yeah, I agree with you. It was crazy how many messages I was getting about how I was inspiring people, or it was cool what I was doing, and they like look forward to seeing it every morning. Me jumping in a cold plunge at 4 a.m. As insane as that might sound.
It is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, no, it's just something different, and if it makes someone laugh or smile or inspire someone to get back in shape, then it's it's
Well,
a
and
it's a
everybody has
positive
a
thing.
different way of going about it. But like, I think like the right type of people win. And when I'm leaving Cardiff and you're coming in, I think it's the perfect recipe is like we have a guy coming in that is a team guy that just wants to win and just enjoy hockey and be a team guy. And like, that's what I've always heard about you. I don't like saying nice things to people in my shed, but like, that's what I've heard about you. And like, when you and JJ do raise my goat, um, I think it does change people the way you're raised, and it does change who you are and how you deal with team conflicts and whatnot. Um, like Joey Martin is a special player in Cardiff Devils history, isn't he? And you raised
Yeah,
that puppy.
he is for sure. He's done so much for that organization and team in the city. And the thing about Joe, he's the most down to earth guy, right? He never let any of it get to his head. He was always like from the day he got there to currently, like he's always been that same guy. He always makes time for fans and kids, and yeah, he's never changed his demeanor or the way he acts or carries himself.
Yeah, he's pretty much the goat, right?
He is. He definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did get to win it with him. Like I won the Challenge Cup with him. You got to win it. That picture you sent of you got him around your arm and another guy and you just won it. Um, very similar to my under 13 boys picture I have of like when they just won it. But like
Yeah.
winning's winning and like man, there's no feeling like it, is there?
Yeah, and we did a lot of it in Cardiff those couple of years. So
You
I
sure
mean,
did. And you're gonna do it again when that whole COVID baloney shut down, eh?
yeah, no, we had a pretty big lead, I think. So I want to say we were like 9 points up, and then with like I think we had games in hand too.
I know
So
it wasn't close.
yeah, I mean they should have gave us a league, but obviously that didn't happen. But
Right. No, you got to earn it. You
yeah,
got people.
I remember tweeting like I said I was done playing, and then I said we should have won, and I had a bunch of mutants from Belfast chirping at me on Twitter. But I'm like, God, just so you know what we've done the last 4 years compared to what you've done. I think we had 7 trophies, and I think they might have won one Challenge Cup or something.
It
But
is a competitive league, though, eh? Those folks are
yeah,
competitive because Belfast has been on a hell of a run recently.
yeah. Lately, right? They've pretty much cleaned up all the trophies the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Other than yeah, I think Cardiff got a few, but Belfast for the
Yeah.
most part.
Well, Cardiff gets pissed off when they don't win. I know that. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
and I do too.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it is just perspective of how hard it is to like keep winning like year over year, right? Because
and keep
obviously
the
you have
same core, right? Keep the same
yeah,
people. It's like having a Joey Martin on your team and Mark Richardson, Josh Batch, Bouncy. There's so many of them.
yeah,
Like make it the culture that it is. And it's like this is the way it is. And you have to join our team because this is how it is, you know?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But anywho, Serious question now. This is cutting edge shed stuff. You played in the NHL.
Briefly, a little cup of coffee.
That's pretty exciting though, eh? Like you did it. I never did it. Like
Yeah,
you can tell people you played in the NHL. I can't tell people that.
I
That's
could,
neat.
but I would never tell someone that unless they asked me.
I understand that.
Well, I mean, because they were like, "Oh, you play in NHL? Oh, why did you only play one game?"
Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
Why did you play more? Oh, well, I wanted to, but they didn't let me.
yeah. I just wanted to stay in Bridgeport, Connecticut for 3 years and only get called up once.
Yeah.
No, no, you know what? It is an honest question, and I don't think people realize how hard it is to play in the NHL. You know, we probably have a million hockey players around the world, and there's 600 guys playing in the NHL right now.
Well,
So
if you
I don't know
look
the actual
around at
number.
minor hockey and all these people posting shit of kids practicing and getting better, and especially when they're young, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, cool, but it's like it just keeps going down. Like you get to the top of the mountain, right? And then all of a sudden it's like animals.
yeah, no, for sure.
But you got
Yeah.
the call up. Like, what was that like when you got the call? Like, were you in Bridgeport and you got the call? Like, I'm going to the NHL because I can't imagine that call.
Yeah. So it would have been, yeah, it was March of 2009. Um, we had a game that night in Bridgeport, and I went in for pregame skate, and the coach called me in the office before a pregame skate in Bridgeport, and he's like, "You're going up tonight." And I'm like what? He's like, "You're going up, so skate here, and then go home, do your usual thing, and then there's a ride arranged for you to get to Long Island, which is only about an hour away, Bridgeport, Connecticut, to
So you just
Nassau."
had to bus or get a cab or something.
Yeah, no, they had a car arranged. There's two of us that were called up. So yeah, so I just went home. I went to Olive Garden with the guys. We had our normal pregame lunch, and then
Did you do the
went home.
Alfredo boat with the
We kept,
breadsticks?
of course, we did.
Yeah, you
Uh,
did. You were
yeah,
dipping the breadsticks in Alfredo boat. That's lovely at all
yeah,
Olive Garden.
except when you're a little nervous, and I was burping that up before the game. But yeah, no, it was great. I mean, I don't even really remember playing in the game. That's how I'm not,
Nervous you were?
you're nervous, but then once you start playing, you're not nervous anymore. But it's hard to recall the game, and I've yet to watch it back. Although my dad's probably watched it 300 times. Yeah, I still haven't watched the game. Yeah, maybe years down the road, I'll go back and watch it to see how I actually played. I just know I had a penalty on Kovalev my first shift. So
Well, honestly, it's neat. It would be neat for your old man, and I can understand why he's watched it hundreds of times. It's like raising my son,
yeah,
and like to think he could ever do that. Um, I'd probably watch that game once or twice, you know?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's neat you actually got to do that. Like it's nice you got that game because if you don't, then you can't say you did it. Right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, being on a 3-year entry level contract, like a two-way contract, it would have been a shame if I didn't at least get one game, right? Just because you were so close.
Yeah. Well, it can hurt when you get close and you don't get.
Well, I mean, there's tons of guys that sign these 3-year entry level deals, and some of them spend the whole time in the AHL. Some guys even get sent down to the coast, right? So, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
just because you sign an entry level NHL contract doesn't even mean you're going to play one game, right?
But
So,
it's the same as getting drafted, right? It's like these kids that think getting drafted means you
oh
made it. It's like you're so far away from making it, it's not even close.
yeah, I mean, if you look at the breakdown after the first round, it's pretty much a coin flip, right? I mean, there's a lot of good players that get drafted second, third, fourth round, but I mean, guys like that really, I don't know what the percentages are, but I know it drops off a lot after the first round.
Well, we better keep on going, eh?
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of questions here, you know?
Okay. My battery's at like 15%, so we have to hurry.
That's it. Holy shit, man. You're in the tub too.
It's
Um,
fine.
oh dear. Well, then I better think harder. Um, why was a Stanley Cup with you?
Yeah. So I was good buddies with Nathan Horton, and
Oh,
they
that
won the.
punk. He
Yeah,
lost the Southern Cup. Did you know that?
I know he lost to you guys, but
Oh,
he's
did you know that? Okay, I was just letting you know.
another famous for Blackhawks. But yeah, he had won the cup. We had gone to watch a couple games that year, and then I remember I'll never forget. I was at a Jays game, and I don't know if it was July 1st, and he called me. He's like, "What do you think about me bringing the cup back to your place for like an after party after the parade?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Of course." So yeah, we hosted this cup party in my backyard in Thorold. It was
Really?
awesome.
You hosted it?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like he had a big parade in his hometown in Dunville, and then they got to Thorold at maybe like 5, and we had everything set up in the backyard. Like Molson had sponsored it, so we had tents, all the beer supplied. It
It
was
takes
amazing.
everybody to win, man. And honestly, what I've found from you, and it was hanging out with you at Batchy's testimonial, and it was all of it, is it takes everybody to win, and you're really good at facilitating winning. You know that?
Oh, thanks.
Well, you are. Um, well done.
Thanks,
Um,
buddy.
yeah, yeah, fuck you. I don't like saying nice things to
I mean,
people.
I
Wait,
mean, I, I, I
shut
didn't
up.
know. I didn't win a Sutherland Cup though, right? So
That's right. That's right. Only the Elmira Hurricanes did that, and did beat
we lost
Nathan
to,
Horton.
we lost to Stratford in the finals the following year in Game 7.
Oh, I lost in Game 7. The year after we won it, my last year of junior, I lost in Game 7 to Sarnia, and it was something I still not over. It was the year it was my team, it was my thing. The year before it was more Agates' thing, and we won, and then it was like on me, and we didn't get it done, and it still hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you do?
It's
You
it's
win, you
it's start,
lose.
it's starting to snow here.
Okay. Hey, I'll keep going then. Bridgeport, you played with Mark Flood. He's a
I
beauty,
guess Bloody is an absolute legend.
isn't he? Isn't he one
I
of the,
love that guy.
isn't it weird that like I say that the shed guys come from different pockets of the world? He's like a
Yeah,
PEI guy or something.
yeah. Well,
And
him and Dicko are good buddies too. So there's another shed connection for you.
well, and it makes sense because shed guys know shed guys because Mark Flood is one of the best dudes I've played with. And I only played for like a month or so and we stayed in a hotel and I'm like, man, this guy is just like so nice and like he plays hockey nice and he's a good guy. And I was like, God.
Yeah, he's a super good guy. I remember when I posted because Dicko and I did our masters together in Cardiff. So I posted one day. Me and Dickie were at the campus bar, and I posted something on Instagram of just me and him. And like Floody had messaged me right away. He's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "You two guys are playing together." And he's like, "Look out!"
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You get
trouble,
good
right?
people together, it you win stuff, you know?
It's true. It is
It
true.
That's how it works. The other guy that was on that team, Matt Martin, he's a shed
Yeah,
guy too.
yeah. Marty's another good guy. Same thing. Like he made it. Like he's been in the NHL forever now, but he's similar to Joey Martin. Very down to earth guy, great guy. He never let any of that get through his head, and he's the same way. He always treats everyone the same, and he doesn't like think he's above anyone. So he's very similar to Joey Marty. So I mean,
I totally agree because I went my story is I went to an Islanders game. Tom Kuhnackel's supposed to be playing on the team from Landshut,
yeah,
Germany. I know him. We're supposed to be able to go down and meet the team. He's injured, he's not there. So I may know my way around a barn or two, and I may know how to get places. So I get to the family and friends section with my son, and Matt Martin came out, and so did 5 or 6 other Islanders. Like they were so nice. They took the time. They got right down on their knee with my son, took pictures
yeah,
with him, and it's like there's some guys that will do this and there's some guys that won't. And Matt Martin, Casey Zizekas, there is a
Yep,
bunch of guys that were on the Islanders that are absolute shed guys, you know?
for sure. And I feel like hockey players are like in general are a lot different than a lot of other pro athletes where guys will do that a lot more often.
Yeah, and it's neat when you can do that for your kid, when you're just a fat guy in the middle of nowhere, you know, and then you can show up at a barn and do that at an NHL rink. It's pretty neat. Um,
You're not fat, Wally. You just have bad genes.
that's right.
It's,
I'm not as fat as I used to be. Um,
it's, it's genes.
now I go to my shed and laugh, and you go to your tub and laugh. So
And for
Asiago, we haven't talked about this yet, okay?
my
So we
second
got to
favorite
do
place.
this. We got to do this. So you played there a long time, and
Yep,
one guy that I want to have on is Lane Ulmer. Um,
yep.
he's a shed guy, and I just saw him and my buddy that I won the championship with in Germany and Mexico together, Greg
Oh, really?
Schmidt. Yeah, they were out. They were there for a week, hanging out, doing her, being hockey guys. Um, I shed guys know shed guys, and you and him spent a lot of time together, eh?
Yeah. So we played when I got to Asiago, I had already been there 2 years previous. So he ended up playing 7 years in Asiago, and I played the last five with him. And then that was the year Asiago, like Serie A, so the first league in Italy, was joining the Alps League. So at that time, that would have been the second Austrian league. And basically, we didn't really know what was going to happen, but they had to cut way down on imports. So I would have been, 30 at the time, and Lane, so he would have been 35. So it's not that the team didn't want us back, but we just didn't know how things were going to work out. So I ended up signing in Cardiff, and then within a couple of weeks, Lordo had called me. He's like, "Hey, tell me more about this Almer guy." And then that's basically how it happened. And so we played so five in Italy and then three in Cardiff together. So eight consecutive years.
Eight
Most of the time in
years in a row with one dude, man. You get
so we were pretty much line mates the whole time in Asiago, and then in Cardiff off and on. I played pretty much half with Marty and half with Lane.
so he's a centerman,
He is a centerman, yeah, yeah. So like him and Marty were the 1-2 center punch for those years. We won all those trophies.
and that's pretty neat that you're either playing with a kid you grew up with or a guy you've been with for 8 years.
Yeah, I know it was great. Yeah, but I mean Asiago, another great city. It's hard to pick which city I like playing more. It's a very different city. It's up in the mountains, smaller town, like 10,000 people. Fans are great there too, very loyal. Not as much to do. Um, I would say I like Cardiff more just because the city with 500,000 people and
There's
there's so much more
more
to do there.
things to do, especially
But
with kids, right?
exactly. So, but in terms of like the way the teams are run and the way you're treated, they're my two favorite teams that I've ever played for.
Well, you really didn't play for anybody else.
True. I played for Augsburg for 1 year and Bridgeport for three, and then Providence for like a half a year.
So, like, honestly, like when I look at rosters and resumes and like where people go and what happens, it's like, man, you're as loyal as people get. And I've met you, I've done the weekend with you. You're the type of guy teams need to win. Be the same in the real world. Um, it's interesting when teams win and like you win in Italy and then you come to Cardiff and the same thing happens. And like, you don't have to be the Joey Martin. You don't have to be that guy. You just blend in and you're like, yeah, let's just have fun and win. And I'm going to score goals and have fun. And, like that's what teams need.
Yeah, no,
Sorry
exactly.
for
Like,
saying nice things to you. My bad. It's not my fault.
thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. Obviously.
I
Just
had I
heads up,
had the I had
just
one
a
of the
heads up.
best weekends of my life with you, sir.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
my battery does. I probably have like 5 minutes left here, just so you know.
Okay,
But
well, when it cuts out, then I'll just say, and this has
just
been another episode, right?
okay. It's at like 9%, but it's cold, so the battery's gonna drain quicker. Yeah. So what was the last question? Oh yeah, coming to Cardiff and
Did I ask a question? I was just telling you how, like, I think you're a winner. I think what you do is
oh, so
you you win
honestly,
stuff.
like
Honestly,
I
so you won in Niagara too. You won everywhere, but like, isn't it interesting? So you did do your 3 years in the North American loop. Um, is it not different growing up in Thorold where you're like a team? You're a
yeah,
team. And then you get to North American Pro and you get in your 3 year entry level deal. It's not a team. It's not what
no,
we
you're not
grew
a
up
team.
doing.
I when you're in the American League, and I'm sure the coast is pretty similar. Like we would have 50 or 60 different guys on the roster throughout the year, right? And it's not a team because everyone wants to get called up. Everyone's playing for ice time. If a guy's not on the power play, he's upset. If this guy's on the penalty kill, he's upset. And it's just the way we are because everyone's so competitive. Everyone wants to go to that next level. So it's not like you were like upset with the guy, but you're upset that you're not getting the ice
The
time that he's
guy.
getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to say it's a team, and then playoffs will roll around. If the Islanders didn't make the playoffs, they send down 8 guys on their entry level deals that played in the NHL all year, just to play in the American League playoffs, and then guys that are playing on the first two lines. Then all of a sudden we're bumped down to line 3 and 4, barely playing because these NHL guys are now playing. So it's like they're not even on the team all year. So it's hard to it's a completely different dynamic. Yeah, but it's definitely not a team. When I went to Europe, it's like okay, like I'm back on our team. Like we're all
You're
in
on
it
a
for the
team
same
and we
reason.
grew up
We're
being on
trying to win.
teams and this is a team and that
Yeah,
we're trying to win a trophy together, right?
exactly. And it's not saying like I had a lot of fun playing in Bridgeport. Those guys were all great guys too. But at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same job. So, as I still do talk to a lot of guys from there, but again, it's not the same team feeling as it was playing in Cardiff and Oswego. That's for sure.
I totally understand. And what's weird for me that I got written down here is when you're in Asiago, at 1 year was your goalie Jeff Lurg.
Yeah, it was Lurgy. My
Man,
first year.
that guy in Michigan State was the littlest goalie in the league. I think he was
He
Michigan State.
he is the smallest goalie I've ever played with.
He stopped all the pucks.
He was great. Yeah, he was
He stopped
the
all
most.
the pucks. He won like goaltender of the year in college hockey, and he couldn't get a sniff in pro because he's just too little. But fuck, he could stop pucks.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you get that next level. My phone's gonna die here though, buddy.
Okay.
You want to sign off?
Well, is it over?
Well, it's gonna shut down here. Do you want to sneak in one more question? You got a good one for me?
Do I have a good question for you? I don't think I have a good question for you, other than in Providence. Okay, you leave school and you score a point a game for like, oh shit, is he done? He,
Um,
are you
I,
done?
I
Holy
mean,
fuck.
there's all.
Okay, you leave
Um,
school and you score a point a game in the AHL playoffs and in the regular season for 15 points. Like, you thought you were going there, and like that's got to be tough for a guy to take because I thought I was getting pretty close and it didn't happen, and it can hurt for a little bit, can it?
yeah, for sure. Sorry, you're cutting in and out. Are you talking about Providence?
Yeah,
Sorry.
so you went to Providence and scored 14 points in 15 games, and then you
Yeah.
signed with the Islanders.
Yeah. So funny enough, I could barely get a tryout contract. I had a couple ATO offers. One was Springfield, one was Providence. We ended up deciding to go to Providence. Um,
You're on
my
an
agent.
ATO and you're putting that shit up? Because in
Yeah. So
ATOs, in my experience, you don't get any ice time. You're just like the extra guy.
yeah. So Providence had a bunch of injuries and they were in a playoff race. So I just got put into a good situation. My first couple games had a couple points, so I started playing more. The next thing you know, I'm playing on the power play with Krejci. Um, So that obviously helped my point production playing with that guy. He's the smartest player I've ever played with. He has eyes in the back of his head. But yeah, it was shocking. I remember going there. They're like the guys were all great guys, but everyone's like Niagara University. What is that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I
You
thought,
put Niagara on the map though. Like Eggets did his thing and he put it on the map, but he was only an East Coast all decade team guy, right? Like you put it on the map a little bit further.
yeah, well, I think the biggest difference was age, right? So when I was done playing, I was like when I finished at Niagara, I was only 21, right?
Right.
So
That's why
I was
your old
still
man was driving you to practice.
the first year. But yeah, no, honestly, like I went there. I knew I was just gonna play the way I always did, but I thought, maybe I'll get a couple games and they'll send me back to Niagara. But I was still in school, right? So I was trying to do all my work online, living in a hotel for 3 months. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was crazy the way that kind of worked. And then next thing you know, my agent called me. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, we have an offer from this team. We have an offer from this team." And then like playoffs started, and I was still getting a point a game. And by the end of it, there was probably like 12 different teams that made an offer.
I was surprised you didn't stick with the team you were with because you had done so well with them.
Yeah. So the whole thing there, they had. It's a long story, but at the time, they thought I was a year older than what I was. So whatever was in the CBA, like I had to sign the 3 year entry level because of my age, and like the contract offer they had given me was basically the same but for 2 years, but I like couldn't even sign it. They had messed it up, and then um, looking back, I mean, we should have just went back to them and say, hey, like this is this can't even happen. Like it won't be allowed. But um, yeah, I had spoke to the Islanders and I just felt comfortable going there, and then
Well,
yeah, that was that. It's easy to say now. I should have stuck it out and stayed in Boston because my best buddy ended up getting traded there the following year. So I mean, that probably could have helped my chances of getting called up a little more often. I mean, would it have? Who knows, right? But
no,
it's
but like
easier to
it's the way it works, right? It's like I
yeah,
could have changed things in my path, but like we make the path we make, right? And we do what we do. And it's interesting for me in my shed knowing who winners are. And I'm like, this dude's a winner. And it's like, this guy should be in hockey. This guy should be teaching people how to win shit. And
yeah.
like, that's who you are.
Oh, thanks, brother. You trying to make me cry on here or what?
No, I'm not. I just want you to sit in your hot tub and enjoy it. But like,
Hey,
that
hey, hey,
honestly,
I can't shut off here because I'm at 1%.
okay, well, here we go for your 1%. Okay. I'm gonna shut it down after this.
All right, buddy. Love you.
Um,
We'll talk soon.
we will talk again, but winning takes certain people. It takes the right people. It takes the people that aren't in it for themselves, that want to win because they want to fucking win. And
Yeah,
that's who you are. And that's you raised my goat. It's crazy. When you think about how this all goes, and I meet you and I get to know you that weekend at Josh Batch's testimonial, and then I realize you helped raise my goat, and then I see myself raising these kids around here, and it's like
yeah,
you
sure.
gotta raise winners. You either raise winners or you raise people that make fucking excuses. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like you're either one or the other, right?
You're one or the other. You're either gonna fucking figure it out or you can fucking make excuses because of this and that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
you made the Devils what they were from the big blue tent to the big barn. You and Marty and everybody, and I understand why he brought you in, is that's how they won shit, was everybody was in it together. Samuel Jardine, I don't know if you played with him, but
I did
he's
play with George.
another one of those fucking guys that
Yeah,
like
he's a good player.
you just win with guys like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Georgie's a great guy too.
Yes. Well, thank you for finally making the time for me. And
No,
I don't know if you're cold or hot or what you're doing now.
I just got to go and check on the kids, make sure they're sleeping. I can see the lights are all off, so that's a positive
Well,
sign.
thank you for finally making the time for me, buddy. And that weekend at Batch's testimonial was one I'll never forget. And it was great getting to know you, sir.
Yeah, I had a great time with you too, buddy. It was I mean, those are memories we will obviously never forget.
Winning takes people places, right? That's what it does.
I agree. And
And that's why we were there. That's why we were there, was because the Cardiff Devils won shit. If they don't win shit, we're not there.
yeah, for sure.
Go Cardiff Devils. Go Manchester Storm. Go hockey. Shawnee's out of gas. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Betty and Wally.